As much as you give me credit, Jimmy, this is a teamwork, team effort. It's Playbook. It's come together. You have prompts from people. So as all of you are using this, you will discover things that are working for you. And if you want to pay it forward, email me or Jimmy, and we'll include that in the Playbook because we believe that this is going to serve the community at large. And when everybody wins, we all win.
Welcome to Real Estate AI Flash, the podcast dedicated to real estate professionals to demystify AI and give you practical strategies that you can apply to your business today. I'm your co-host, Rajeev Sajja.
And the other co-host, Jimmy Burgess, and we are excited for you to be a part of this. If you haven't had a chance yet, make sure you go out and that you subscribe to the podcast. Also, we would really appreciate if you could leave us a review. It helps us spread the message that as a real estate community, we are stronger together. Now let's get to this episode.
Welcome to Real Estate AI Flash. I'm your co-host, Rajeev Sajja, joined by my one and only co-host, Jimmy Burgess. And today's episode, Jimmy, I'm excited about because there's so much change that happens in AI. And for people to keep up with changes, this episode is dedicated for you because we've come up with an AI playbook for all our listeners that they can access and keep track of. And we want to constantly update. We're already on version 3 of the playbook. So I'm ready to get into this, Jimmy.
You know, Rajeev, what's great about this playbook is it is a living document because, as we know, the acceleration of this technology is just at a pace that is hard to keep up with. So if you're wanting the freshest information, this is what I really appreciate about you, Rajeev, is when that information comes available, you're immediately updating a lot of these things in the playbook so that it is fresh, ready, no matter where and when they come back to that playbook, they're going to have that option. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And like you say, that playbook has been my Bible, so to speak, for AI, and I'm excited to be able to share it with everybody.
Yeah, so for those of you that are watching this, I'm going to share my screen and kind of show you the playbook. But if you're listening to this in your car, the link will be in the show notes. You just go to realestateaiflash.com and you will get access to the playbook right there and also have the opportunity to subscribe to our newsletter. It is a digital playbook, as Jimmy mentioned. It is 25 pages today while we're recording this. And it is organized. I almost feel like, Jimmy, that this is a summation of all our episodes in time. And our people that get access to this will see it. It has setup and configuration, foundation, the 4 Ps and REAIF, a playbook with all the prompts we've been talking about, and resources. And we're going to get into some of this stuff in this podcast episode about what are the top 5 apps. We did an episode on that. What are the top 5 custom GPTs as we move to that? A recent episode talked about that. So this is going to be a living, breathing thing. And we know the speed of change in AI is breathtaking. And our goal, Jimmy and I goal, is to really distill all that information so you don't have to get that fire hose. And we'll do that for you so we can give you actionable insights to go for it. So this link will be in the show notes, but Jimmy and I are going to talk through the elements that are available in the playbook. And stay tuned till the end because we have pro tips. Jimmy and I are going to share 6 pro tips that I think you'll really have your results speak for themselves if you apply them in prompting.
Hey, Rajeev, just so people understand this too, I just absolutely have it bookmarked. And so even though some of those prompts I wrote or we wrote together, I will still go back to that and go back to that where I can copy the exact prompt I'm looking for. So it will be a resource that I know is going to bring some value to agents and to anybody that takes a look at it. So I'm really excited from a standpoint of just making this available because I know what a difference it's made for me and for some of our agents and our marketing team to have access to all of this information. So let's roll right into this. This is going to be some good stuff.
Yeah. So, we talked about the fire hose in AI, and we did one of our more popular episodes is the foundation, AI foundation. So 4 Ps and REAIF, it's articulated. We probably did a much better job in the playbook, Jimmy, you and I, than actually talking through it because it's easier to read some of the stuff than actually listen sometimes. So I think that's why the playbook is really going to help people from all walks of AI literacy. They're going to be able to embrace it and go to steps that are relevant to them. And then we included some new prompts in there. Every week as we were using this, when we were at convention, one of your prompts I felt like was a really hit home with a lot of people. So we included it. In our newsletter, we're going to include prompt of the week. So subscribe to the newsletter as we go through it. So prompting is a big piece of this thing. And then obviously we are learning new things as we go through it. Never ever print this document. As Jimmy said, make sure you just bookmark it, because every month there's going to be a new thing that's going to get added to it to keep you abreast and keep you performing a high level with AI. So, and then we did an episode recently, Jimmy. This is a case in point. We did an episode of 4 popular AI apps. Now we've added a 5th one because of Gemini, and all 5 are listed. So don't have to take notes today. Don't have to listen to, stop what you're doing. Just listen, really, because this playbook will have all of the stuff listed. And by the time you listen to this and actually go to the playbook, maybe the playbook is already updated from the time we're actually broadcasting this. So I'd love to get to the top tips there, Jimmy.
Yeah, no, I think the pro tips now kind of just, again, what we want to do is if you're listening to this and you've been utilizing, whether it be Chat GPT or any of the artificial intelligence, and you're having some difficulties, we're going to give you some pro tips on exactly what to do to make sure you don't get stuck, and also to give you the best practices possible. So let's roll right into this. If you don't mind, I'll go ahead and get us started with number 1, Rajeev, and that is if Chat GPT stops before completing all the content or whatever your request or your prompt was. This is something that I've heard a number of people say. Agents will get started on this and they'll say, well, it just stopped in the middle, and so I guess it didn't work and I quit. This is really, you have to understand, this is like having a conversation with Rajeev. I'm a little ADHD at times. So maybe sometimes when Rajeev and I are talking, he will say something to me and then I will start answering his question, but then I get diverted to something else or whatever, and I lose my train of thought. It's not necessarily what happens here. It's just a disruption. Here's all you have to do is prompt right below after it pauses, after it stops, if it's in the middle of this, and just simply say, please continue from where you stopped. It will immediately pick up, read what it's done, begin to pick up where it had stopped, and continue to work for you. So if you get caught and it's stuck a little bit or something's going on, just simply ask it to continue where it stopped, and it'll gear right back up for you and continue giving you exactly what you were asking for.
Yeah, and that's a great kickoff tip, because, Chat GPT has token limits, right? This is really hitting the token limit of 8192. Now, who knows what GPT-5 is going to bring? Well, I'm sure do another episode on no more tokens. It's like unlimited tokens. But so it has limited memory, just like a human being, right? There's just limited stuff you remember. And so my next one, number 2, is really along the lines of memory. When you start to go back and forth and priming and polishing, there's a lot of content that you're kind of going back and forth on. So sometimes it's okay to ask Chat GPT, can you summarize your learnings so far on this topic and what I'm asking you to do? It's like level set. Okay, let's see where we're at, right? Current state. And that's like almost, we call it memory recall in one of our previous episodes. That's a great way to see what is it understood, and are there some gaps you need to fill as you continue going on the process. So that's number 2 pro tip for me. Can you summarize your learning so far on this topic and what am I asking you to do? So that's pro tip number 2. How about 3, Jimmy?
Yeah, number 3 is a lot of times as we've talked about, the better the prompting, the better the results that you're going to receive. And sometimes it's not that the technology is lacking a little bit. The way that we're prompting it or we're asking the questions is giving it not enough information to give us what we're exactly looking for. So one of the best ways to make sure that doesn't happen is to utilize the following in your prompts. It's just simply say, before generating anything, please ask me any questions you have to understand my request completely. What will happen is any gaps that we've left out, it will fill in the gaps by asking those questions. And by it asking for more details, the details it needs, and then you giving that back to it, it's going to absolutely going to have the opportunity for you to receive a higher quality answer to your prompt, as well as give you better results for what you're looking for.
Yeah, that probably is my top pro tip, by the way. Absolutely. For them to understand your business, right? For Chat GPT or any AI tool to understand your business, they got to ask the questions. That's a great pro tip. So tip number 4, this has several research findings have proven that this can boost accuracy by 80% by simply saying, take a deep breath and work on this request step by step. It almost just seems like we're talking to our kids, Jimmy, but it's humans, right? It's like we talk about Chat GPT being an untrained assistant treated like an employee. Take a deep breath and work on this request step by step. If you include that in your prompt, the accuracy of what that generates can be as high as 80%. So that's a good one as well. So number 5 to you.
Yeah. And I would say, just back on number 4, also, one of the things that I always think, and we always preach, I guess you could say, is right is better than fast. And it's the same way when we're talking about some of these. And so giving it the permission to take the time to do things step by step is almost like you would be giving a permission to that employee to, hey, listen, I'd rather you get this right than do it fast. And again, the intelligence just continues to get better and more in line with what we would see with the typical employee. So number 5, let me get to that. One of the things that we started, and when we first started, I used to make the joke that, hey, listen, it's not just my Southern hospitality is why I use please in there. I'm doing this because ultimately I think the robots may end up killing us all, and I just want them to think I was nice. Now, listen, that was a joke, but now there is actually research that is showing us that when you give it, basically when you prompt with emotional language, please, or thank you, or you show it some respect, it actually gives you better results, and it gives you something that it actually enhances the quality of the results. And this is not just an opinion. These are research is showing this now, and this is where we are today. So kindness does matter even when we're talking about artificial intelligence. So I just encourage you, think of it from a standpoint of if you were talking with an individual, as we always go back to, how would you do it in a way that you know that you would prompt it in a way to feel in a good place to give you the best results possible? Do the same courtesies with the artificial intelligence, and now research is showing you're going to get better results.
Yeah, that's so good. Such a small thing, but it makes a big difference, right? Power of being nice. Now AI is supporting it as well. Finally, last but not the least, we did a whole episode on this, Jimmy. I think episode 8 about custom instructions, right? Again, if you use custom instructions for different roles, real estate agent, marketing specialist, social media marketing, business coaching, and go back and listen to episode 8, but that is a great place to start if you're going to do rinse and repeat things that are pretty consistent with what you're doing to get you to the finish line quicker versus doing all the priming and prompting. So custom instructions is a great place to also remember and not forget that option is available on the free Chat GPT as well. So those are 6 pro tips as you digest this playbook that is a living, breathing document.
Yes. Yeah. And as Rajeev mentioned before, we do now have your playbook ready for you. Simply go to the website and you'll be able to sign up for the newsletter, as well as we'll have a free download for you to be able to get that playbook. I would absolutely tell you that make sure that you bookmark that because it is constantly changing. It is something that I go back and review, even as Rajeev and I are talking about this and he's making some of those adjustments and we're seeing new things. It is going to help you set yourself apart and serve your clients at the highest level possible. So Rajeev, as we wrap up, anything additional or direction you'd like to give them to make sure that they go and they get that playbook for themselves?
As much as you give me credit, Jimmy, this is a teamwork, team effort. It's playbook. It's come together. Your prompts from people. So as all of you are using this, you will discover things that are working for you. And if you want to pay it forward, email me or Jimmy, and we'll include that in the playbook because we believe that this is going to serve the community at large. And when everybody wins, we all win.
Yes. And finally, if you're an agent out there that is utilizing artificial intelligence or a tool specifically that is helping you serve your clients at a higher level, please reach out to us because, as we always say, we are all stronger together, and we would love to feature some of the details of what agents are doing right now so that we can all be in a better place to serve our clients at that highest level possible. Again, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week.
This podcast has been produced by TSC Studios. Music is courtesy of Soundstripe. Audio and video editing is provided by Noah Escobar. Graphic design by Melinda McKnight. And special thanks to Jordan Wilson of Your Everyday AI for the inspiration and expertise.